Only place you get truth, justice in the Big Sills way. Only place you get it. You're not going to get it on those so-called stations in Philly. You're not going to get it with the national guys. You're going to get it right here on the National Football Show with Big Sills. By the way, we do this always. We start the program out with Big Sills. Please hit that like button. By the way, the first 15 minutes is the most important to the show because that's what spreads the word. You guys have done a great job spreading the word. Fantastic stuff. By the way, we're going to try to effort today. Jackie Slater, Pro Football Hall of Famer, who works with the Rams, and also Vince Ferragamo. These guys are traveling to training camp right now where the Rams are getting ready for the Eagles this weekend. And they're going to try to jump aboard with us. I don't know what time. So they're going to try to make this thing happen. Our dear friend Jackie Slater and Vince Ferragamo, part of the broadcast team for the Los Angeles Rams, as the Eagles will travel west and take on those LA Rams Sunday Night Football. So please hit that like button. We tell you guys all the time. The like button is there for you, and Super Chats all go to the top. All right. Dallas Cowboys are a train wreck. I watched that game last night. An absolute train wreck. And that's all at the heels of Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones was asked the question today on his radio show, hey, Mike McCarthy, has he lost the football team? Mike McCarthy never had the football team because Jerry doesn't empower his head coaches to be a head coach. He's a glorified offensive coordinator. That's exactly what Mike McCarthy is. He's not a head coach. He does not have the respect of the players if something goes sideways. That team's not a reflection of Mike McCarthy. It's a reflection of the owner. Look at how Michael Parsons acts. Look how CeeDee Lamb acts. And I'll tell you one more thing. You want to know the reason the Dallas Cowboys are in the shape they're in? They waited too long on those contracts. They spent the entire offseason negotiating those contracts with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb instead of building the roster. That's exactly what happened. Cowboys are about 5 years from being decent now. Please hit that like button. Lions have better offense. Eagles a better defense. We'll get into that. Vic Fangio talked today. We'll talk a little bit about that. Yesterday it was Nick. We'll get into some of that word salad that he had. He really doesn't say shit anymore. Kellen is kind of that guy too, but he said some interesting stuff. So we'll talk about that. By the way, top 10 quarterbacks, top 10 teams, the MVP race. We have a conversation on Matthew Stafford as well. Again, we'll talk a little bit about what the coordinators say. You know, we had Angelo Cataldi on with us today, and I'll make a comment to you. So you tell me this. I just had a conversation with Xander on this. By the way, thanks, Nick. I appreciate you doing that, man. Okay? Thank you. Jerry Jones wants Bo Nix. Jerry Jones doesn't know what he wants right now. Hit that like button. By the way, news out of New York. Joe Douglas ends up getting canned as general manager of the Jets. You can't miss on Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. Keep your gig. I don't care if you get Sauce Gardner. I don't care if you get a great running back. I don't care if you really get a great wide receiver. You can't miss on the quarterback twice. Aaron Rodgers has been a failure in New York. Plain and simple. He has been an absolute failure in New York. It's been a train wreck. The head coach is canned. Soon the quarterback will be canned. What's the point of bringing Rodgers back? Protect Marcus Hayes, and kudos to him yesterday. He was absolutely awesome. I love Marcus Hayes. And how about the Sixers now? So you got Maxey calling out Embiid. Can you imagine that? A guy making over $60 million, $55 million a year, and he gets called out for being lazy. Jesus Christ. I don't even know how the NBA exists any longer. Oh, I know. If it wasn't for China, or as President Trump would say, China, that league doesn't make it. Opening week, double-digit numbers in the tank for ratings. I don't know how people watch that thing. And now the Sixers are 2-11. You see, one thing about Embiid you can count on. You know, he's not going to fight for wins for you, but he'll fight columnists over shitty columns. That's who Joel Embiid is. Yeah, congratulations to you. You got a bigger loser than Ben Simmons. He's a bigger loser than Ben Simmons now. By the way, Daryl Morey, what are you doing? What have you ever won? Hey, I cover good teams. I cover teams that win. I don't cover teams that like. I'm not a Laker guy. I don't cover the Lakers. You know why? They don't win. Covering the Cowboys, I do it because they're in the NFC East. I'm not that guy. I don't sit around banging on a dude. Listen, if Jalen Hurts right now was 2-8, I'm not covering him. I could care less. I cover people that win. You're relevant. The Lakers aren't relevant. The Cowboys aren't relevant. To some extent, Notre Dame's not relevant. Why would I cover those teams? What? Because they got marquee brands? That's not how I do it. That's not how I do it, man. Okay? Hey, by the way, Sills is never late. I'm on Big Sills time. That means you're on my time. Always remember that, my friend. Big Sills, truth, justice, and the Big Sills time. I got my own clock. Okay? All right. So let's get going here. Jesus Christ. I can't believe what I just added. And I had to go back and use a calculator. So since the bye, the Eagles' opponents' records are 20-43. And since the start of the season, they're 41-64. Who you play? Well, you can't. Park Avenue in New York makes the schedule, Sills. They got to play who's on it. I'm not debating that. I'm debating you have played a bad schedule. How do you know who you are? How do you know who you are? You haven't played anybody, really. How many winning teams have you played? 2? I mean, wait. Commanders, Falcons, and Packers. So you played 3 out of the 10. 41-64. Holy shit. What a shitty record. And you're taking victory laps that you have the number 1 ranked defense versus the worst rosters in the NFL. How many 2-win teams? That's a great. Let me take a look at this. How many 2-win, 3-win teams have the Eagles played this year? Let's take a look at that. Let's see. How many 2-3-win teams has Philly played? All right. The Browns, 2 wins. There's 1. Let's see. Jags, 2 wins. Hold on. The Giants, 2 wins. You played 3 teams with 2 wins. Cowboys with 3 wins. Who else here? Let's see. So you've played 4 teams with 2 to 3 wins on them. Holy shit. Holy Shizakov. Man, what a bum schedule, man. You've played nobody. Okay, you are what your record says, dominating wins, dominating bums. Okay, fantastic. We played bad teams in 17-22, just saying. Man, so how do you know how good you are? Don't you think it's a legitimate question? How good are you? In 22, we had a bad schedule. Don't see no talking. In 22, you had a veteran team. This year, you don't know what you really have yet. Find out that, hey, they've been playing well, and they have improved a lot. Remember coming into the season thinking that the AFC North would be a murderous road and thinking that we had a tough schedule? Who knew these teams would suck this hard? Hey, man, I don't personally think the Steelers and the Ravens blow. Okay, I don't think that division is as bad as you say. Your division, the NFC East, is terrible. Okay, I don't think the Bengals have Russell Wilson. They have Lamar Jackson, and they have Joe Burrow in it. I don't think that's awful. Look at the quarterbacks in your division. Hurts, Dak, a rookie, and then a guy who was just benched. You have the worst quarterbacks in any division in the NFL, in the NFC East. Remember that. I mean, Daniel Jones got benched this week. But didn't you say Commies would win the NFC East? Yeah. It's November 19th, Abe. A lot of football to be played. We were about this time last year, and all of a sudden we started to see the iceberg. And I kept telling everyone, Captain Smith, there's an iceberg out there, and we're going full speed. You might want to slow down. Like a mill pond out here. Makes it hard to see the bergs. Hey, Big Sills kept saying, there's an iceberg out there. You better keep looking. There's an iceberg. No one wanted to hear it. Not even Xander. No one wanted to hear it. We're 10-1. What does Cilio know? Okay? Hit the iceberg. Not this year, Sills. Not this year. 41-64. I mean, this is has to be one of the shittiest schedules in the league. Has to be. So according to Sills, we are not in first. No, I didn't say that. And don't look good. Didn't say that either. Don't let him forget this. Yes, he claims talent is equal. I didn't say talent was equal in every team. That's not true. Look at Jalen Hurts. Guy's got the best offense in pro football. If any other quarterback had that talent, they'd be undefeated. At the start of the season, we had the 8th hardest. Not now, you don't. You're starting to sound like Nick Word Salad Sills. No, this is facts. Why are you mad at the facts? Since the bye, the record of the teams that you've killed, and you tell me you're playing great football, is 20-43. How do you know this? Hey, by the way, you've barely beaten. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at the Eagles here, too, in some of those games that you've played against some of those 2-win teams. I mean, the record speaks to itself. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up here. Let's see here. Eagles. Here we go. All right. You've got a 2-win Cleveland team, 2-win Giant team, 2-win Jags team, 3-win Cowboys team. Oh, man. And I'm supposed to sit here and try to tell you you're a great team. Still said 7-9 wins like me. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, what I said. The Steelers are good, but one-dimensional. Ravens, the Bengals, so are you one-dimensional. You can't throw the ball. Brian, are you under some notion that you're a good passing team? You better talk to Jarrell about your quarterback. He's so inconsistent. The only thing that's consistent is your quarterback. And by the way, Kellen Moore even addressed that. The coordinators even addressed that shit today. I love it when I say it. You guys think I'm talking shit when they say it. It's bullshit. Sills, I agree the schedule's been soft. Soft as tissue paper. But the team has reversed the trend of playing down to their opponents. Lemonade for lemons. Yeah, it's a great take. Okay? You said the Commander game was a good test. I did. When did I say it wasn't? I'm talking about your fucking schedule, Dennis. Look at Dennis. I think their schedule sucks and the record sucks. He's saying, I thought you said that the Commander game was a good test. It is a good test. I'm not saying it's not a good test. How did you tie that into me saying that the Commander game wasn't going to be a good test for you? That's not what I said, jackass. We're at 11 wins minimum. We face New York. Yeah, look at this. So you face the pizza dude, you face Cooper Rush, and you face, well, I'm going to assume the Red Rifle in Carolina or Bryce Young. That's who you're facing. All right. Dan has good points, sure, but come on. We're using the schedule now to denigrate Hurts. I fucking said one word about your boy. I'm talking about the team. Where did you get that at? God, you guys are so sensitive over that dude. I don't even have a topic today on that guy. What are you talking about? Holy shit, are you sensitive? You know why you're sensitive? Because you know he's not good enough. How is it the Eagles' fault? Cowboys, Bengals. I'm not saying that. It's not the point I'm making here. Once again, you're not looking and listening. I think you are getting better. I think you're doing it against bad teams, which is great. And it's a great experience for your young players. But to sit here and say that you're battle tested and you're ready for the postseason is a fucking joke. You know it's not true. You haven't played one team that's going to give you any kind of battle in the postseason. I would say Washington and Green Bay have been your best test. The rest of them have been garbage teams. Sills got y'all mad. I mean, it's flexing. I haven't ripped anybody here. I'm just saying I would pump the brakes before you sit here and start telling me that you guys are a great football team when you haven't played anybody. Sills, you would be sensitive if someone said something about your daughter. So you're comparing the Eagles to your daughter? I like it, actually. We look at Hurts as a family member for this team. Real Eagle fans. Cool. Okay. I'm good. I'm good with that, man. Pete Burrow. Yeah, okay, great. Only show calling out Jalen. DEI Hurts. I think it's more like AI Hurts. He did a whole show about how bad Jalen is. No, I did a whole show about how inconsistent. If you think being inconsistent is a bad show, that is true, justice and the Big Sills way, that's a you issue. Sills forget that we won the Super Bowl in 52 with a backup quarterback. Sills is full of shit. No, you're right. Hurts is playing great ball. There's a guy right there that lives in denial, and it's not a fucking river in Egypt. We beat Baltimore and Pittsburgh and Rams. We could talk. You sure can. Sills, 4 of the next 5 are Rams, Steelers, and Redskins. We're about to enter the Rapids. True. I love it. That's great right there, Bob. Absolutely. And you're going to be taking on a damn good quarterback coming up this weekend and some good skill people. I don't fall in love with players. I fall in love with championships and winning. Flexing. Yeah, never fall in love with players. Fall in like. Because the NFL gets rid of them every single year. Never said we weren't one-dimensional, but there was only 4 teams that I say are great. Steelers, Bills, Chiefs, and Lions. I don't think anybody's great this year. I think there's a bunch of decent teams and a couple teams that are good with good rosters. Like I told you, I personally think that the Eagles have a really good roster and a C-plus quarterback. And I'll hang on that. I mean, you just don't know who you are right now. Are you really? Hey, let me ask you. Okay, and I'll tell you. I'll ask. Talk all you want. Jalen is a leader, unlike Embiid. Jalen is a leader. Yeah. When things are going well. When things go sideways, I haven't seen him pull his team out of bad play. Now, again, I'll tell you what. I'll take that back. I thought prior to the bye, I didn't think he was all that. I think coming out of the bye, he's played a lot better because they took the ball out of his hands. And he was okay with it. He never bitched about it. So I'm okay with that. And his leadership is good. I don't think he's great. I think he's good. And like Xander said yesterday, you quantify winning. You absolutely do. I don't get it. Look at the whole NFL this season. There's only 12 teams above 500. Even Patrick Mahomes has faults this season. I don't think it's a clear picture this year. Thank you, Prince. That's my point. Prince, okay. He just made my point for me on the record. Thank you, Prince. And thank you for the super chat. Prince just validated my comment. That's exactly what I'm talking about. He's right. Everything Prince said right there is what I'm talking about the Eagles. To sit here and say they're a great team, they're flawed too. He's right. I'll read it again. It's worthy. I don't get it. Look at the whole NFL this season. He's right. There's only 12 teams above 500. Even Mahomes has faults this year. I don't think it's a clear picture this year. That's my point. Prince validated my point. Yes. Yes. That's the tweet and the super chat of the day so far. It's exactly right. Prince and I, for the first time, are on the same page. I don't think there's a clear team. I don't. I don't think there's a superstar team at all this year. Thanks, Prince. If no great teams, why are you knocking our opponents? That wasn't the point. I said, how do you know who you are? Prince said it. There's no clear picture. But you seemingly have one. How could you have a clear picture when there's so few teams above 500? And the parity, mediocrity in the league exists. How do you know when you've played so many 2-3 win teams where you are? He's right. Okay, he's right. Says our defense is improving. It is. Barkley has been great, no question. Sixers are the same as Dallas. So much drama. Yeah, absolutely. Because you have a crybaby for a leader in Embiid. You should trade his ass. Get him out of here, man. Who cares about the schedule? Get the first seed. That's been kind of my point. I mean, thank God for Prince. Prince just rubber stamped my take. How do you know? Seals, is there a team in this league that I think can run the table the rest of the way and win the Super Bowl? No. Can anybody win this thing this year? I think it's so wide open for the Super Bowl. I think there's some teams that are playing better than other teams, but I don't think there's a clear, like, there's this team and that team. Like you and Detroit, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. I don't see it. I think depending on who's hurt, who's not hurt, that respective weekend, where the game's being played. That's the point of the topic. It only took you 22 minutes to figure it out. Please hit the like button. Hey, by the way, one thing about the Lions. Do the Lions know how to win when it counts the most? I think last year's NFC Championship game will help them a lot. If we want the first seed, we can lose 2 more games. We have to go 6-1 down the stretch. Probably so, because the Lions are in that NFC North. Okay? So the Eagles are a C at quarterback, but an A with the rest of the roster. Rest of the top NFL teams are B+, A at quarterback, but a C to C, B with the roster. I like our odds with more playmakers on the field. That's a good take. Bob's right. You got an A+ schedule. You got an A+ roster and a C quarterback. Okay? And the other teams have the A to B quarterback and the C roster. I'd rather have the A quarterback because you can win the Super Bowl with that, because that's what Mahomes does. And that's what Allen's doing this year. He's winning with a C+ roster. You got an A+ roster. So it's kind of balanced. That's why when Xander says Hurts can win a Super Bowl. Yeah, because you know why? It's balanced. The quarterback's not as good as the rest of them guys. And the roster's better than those other teams. That's why the Eagles are kind of in the middle there, because you know why? The one outlier is the quarterback. He's too inconsistent in my book. And that will not change. See, listen, I think Hurts can get into a Super Bowl and play exceptionally well and potentially win it. But do I think he can put 4 games together in a row? No way. He never has. Not against top flight quality teams. And in the playoff run, you go back and look at those numbers in the Giants game and in the 49er game, he was not exceptional at all in those games. He wasn't. He was exceptional in the Super Bowl. Sills, try going one show without talking shit about Hurts. I'm trying not to believe you're biased because you're proving you like pissing off the fan base. The quarterback is going to lead you to the Super Bowl, not your fucking wide receivers guy. And by the way, I think your quarterback's the weakest link. I don't think he's horrible. And I don't think he's bad. I think he's average. You know why he's average? One quarter he plays like shit. The other 2 quarters he plays good. That's kind of who he is. You're the worst first quarter football team in pro football this year on offense. The worst. No, not even Carolina's that bad. Not even Carolina. Mahomes is an A-plus quarterback. He threw an INT first play. So, Shark, what's your point? What's your point about Mahomes? The dumbest comments are made about Patrick Mahomes. So, Patrick Mahomes could throw, as I've said, he could have 57 interceptions this year. And his team's still going to fight for a Super Bowl. If Hurts moves up to a B, we win it all. He was a B in 22. Dude, it's unbelievable when you bring up Mahomes' name. You all sound like idiots. Super Bowl is a team measuring stick. You said it yesterday, and it is. Stop contradicting yourself. No, I'm not. It's a team thing. You have a great roster and an average quarterback. I just said you can get there. Those other teams have A, like Bob said, those other teams have B to A-plus quarterbacks and C rosters. They can get there. But I'll take the A quarterback. I'm with Bob on that. Sills, have teams in the last 3 years been on a downward trend? And if so, why is it a coaching issue? I think it's a parity issue. I think it's a free agent and a turnover in the league and free agency. The lack of the running game or poor defenses, etc. Brian, I think it's just a turnover in the league every year. I do. I think it's the turnover. Seals in 22, Hurts was playing geared to his strengths, and Gannon crumbled when we needed him. And most would have won the Super Bowl if Vic was there, and we would have. You're telling me you think Vic Fangio would have out-schemed Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes? I don't believe that. Golf A+, he threw 5 picks in one game. Lost the NFC title game. Big game when it counts, they lost. Shark. Jared Goff has done more than Hurts has ever done. One game. Yeah, he turned around last week on Sunday and threw 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. And he's leading the NFL in completion percentage. Give me a break, guy. Jalen Hurts and Jared Goff. Name me one thing that Jalen Hurts has done more than Jared Goff. One thing. One thing as a player. One thing. Right now we need Drew Greenlaw. Warner's clearly struggling. I think he's struggling because of the people in front. Okay? He's 9-1. And they went to the NFC Championship game last year. Your guy was beat by Mayfield. What has Goff done that Hurts hasn't? Well, he's gone to 2 conference championship games. He's gone to the Super Bowl. He's thrown for 30 touchdowns in a year 5 times, and he's thrown for 4,000 yards at least 6 times. And he's gone to conference title games on 2 different teams. Yeah. Sills is right. We have to score early in the playoffs. Wait, I'm going to get to what Kellen said. We can't continue this trend when we start playing the better teams. Okay? I do. Okay? Look at this. This guy's trying to move the sticks like he tells me. What year did Jared Goff go to the Super Bowl? I must have missed that. Year 3? When he went to the Super Bowl? With the Rams? Hurts has thrown 4 touchdowns only once in his career. Jared Goff does that on a constant basis. I mean, dude. Yeah. I mean, there's anything you say. Jared Goff's done more. Twice. Okay. Twice in his career. Wait, so the Lions are in the same position we were last year, so they could be 10-1 and then collapse. Correct. That was my open. Because of their schedule, too. Yes. Yeah, because Prince said it. Prince's super, his super was the comment. And that was exactly what the point was when I mentioned the record. There's no dominant team this year. Yes. After yesterday, do you feel different on taking sacks? No, I disagree with him. Because I think stalling drives, and when you're driving, and I disagree with that. I disagree with Marcus Hayes. No, I don't. I think if you're driving and your quarterback takes a sack and he takes you out of field goal position, to me, that's like a turnover. You lost an opportunity to score. That's what turnovers do. Do they not? When you turn the ball over, you lose an opportunity to score and put the team in a better position to score, right? Well, when Jalen Hurts takes sacks and his team out of field goal position or a scoring drive opportunity, I look at that as kind of like a turnover. You lost points. They could maybe slip up maybe 2 to 3 times, and that's a stretch. I hope, though. Cosmo. Seals, what do you think of the firing of Joe Douglas? Can't miss on 2 quarterbacks, man. You missed on a veteran quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and then you missed on Zach Wilson. You're going to get fired for that. No matter how many good wide receivers and running backs you draft, no matter how good your defense looks, no matter how many things you do, at the end of the day, you don't get the quarterback right, you're going to get fired. The only place that doesn't work is in Dallas. Hurts is an average quarterback. He should be much better. He's a veteran, correct, and the talent around him. I don't think he utilizes. Hey, let me ask you this. Let's do this. Do you think he utilizes Dallas Goedert enough? Do they even throw to the third wideout? Do they even use Devontae Smith enough? I mean, do they? Fans watching Sills right now. Ask yourself, do you think they do a good job getting to Devontae Smith? Do they? How many TDs would Hurts have if he hadn't sat out in the fourth quarter? We don't score first quarter and starters sit in the fourth. Starters sit in the fourth? Let's see how many games that you pulled starters out of. You pulled them out of Tampa because you were getting annihilated. Yeah, you had a 4-point win against Cleveland. You pulled them in the Giants game and in the Bengals game. You had to play the Jags game. There was nobody getting pulled there. And you pulled some starters in the Dallas game, and you didn't pull anybody in Washington. And again, like I said, it's a shitty schedule. So you can't be afforded to sit guys. You make it sound like you've been sitting guys all year. Not true. You've been in games against the Jags and Cleveland. I mean, that's not, and New Orleans. Not seeing the tight end and wide receiver 3. He's not on the OC. It's on Hurts. Completely on Hurts. He doesn't spread the ball around. We flex out the Giants versus Cowboys for more exciting games like Eagles and Steelers. Boy, I'd like to see Eagles and Steelers in a prime game. Bills and Lions for Turkey Day. Dude, guess what you're getting on Turkey Day? If I'm not mistaken, are they not putting up, isn't it Tommy DeVito and Cooper Rush for Thanksgiving Day? Isn't it Giants and Cowboys for Turkey Day? So you're going to get Tommy DeVito versus Cooper Rush on either Christmas Day or I think it's Turkey Day. Holy shit. Can't think the NFL loves that. Tommy DeVito versus Cooper Rush on Turkey Day. I mean, not what the league was hoping. Okay? Not what the league was hoping for. That's quite a Turkey Day. We'll be gagging on our chicken wings and our turducken. Chiefs and Steelers on Christmas is nice, except it's on Netflix. If you don't mind, you're good. They need to move the game out of Thanksgiving. That's a travesty. Hey, man, I don't think the Cowboys ain't moving. I don't know. They'll do something next year because Tommy DeVito versus Cooper Rush. Holy shit. So did you QB swap with Prescott? No. I don't think Dak is bad. Gotta wait. Guys, please hit the like button. Okay, Tommy Gabagool. That's nice. No. Dak he panics. Hurts doesn't panic. That's one thing I like about Jalen. Jalen doesn't panic. Okay? He doesn't panic. That's why the kid wins. He doesn't panic. Dak panics. Dak thinks he's got to play hero ball. Jalen doesn't really. He'll turn around and hand it, run, slide. He may not get the first down, but he's trying to protect the ball. Dak doesn't protect the ball enough. So all that being said, is Dak got a better arm? Yes. Is Dak a better quarterback? Yes. Oh, wait, thrower of the football? Yes. Is Jalen a better quarterback? Yeah. I mean, yes. Dak's streaky too, though. But I'm not he just plays too much fucking hero ball, man. Okay? I like that, Schmidt. Nice. Thank you for the super chat. Okay? I like it. I mean, Hurts doesn't panic, reads defense. No, he doesn't read defenses. He can't read a defense. Dude, Jalen Hurts reads a defense as bad as I read some of these super chats. Sills, we don't have Allen, Mahomes, or Goff. We have Hurts. Let's focus on how and if he will get better. He's not going to get better. It's who he is. The roster only will get better. That's why they keep adding players like Barkley. They know this. He's not going to get better. That's why they took the ball out of his hands. They run the ball. That Kellen said it today. It's why they run the ball more. The quarterback is not going to get better. There's no ceiling for Hurts. The ceiling is this. Okay? Now what you do is you manage it. Don't have him make high percentage plays. And by the way, the next time I hear somebody tell me that Jalen Hurts throws a great deep pass, I'm going to say this to you. So fucking what? Brady never. Manning never. Montana never. Aikman never. Bradshaw never. None of those guys did. I mean, so? What's the big, it's a stupid comment that means nothing. He throws a nice deep ball. And Tom Brady didn't win Super Bowls throwing deep passes. He never in his entire career was a deep ball passer. Except for 1 year when he had Moss. Outside of that, it was all dink and dunk and tight end plays to Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. That's 4 games we sat starters, quarters. We never blew the Jags out 52-6. That's unnecessary. I thought Tim keeping the starters in, JD, was really stupid. I'm talking Dan Campbell. Keeping his starters into the fourth quarter was stupid. You had that game in the end of the third, middle of the third quarter, you had that game won. Keeping your starters in so that you can roll that Jags team and pile up points. Now, maybe what he's thinking is because there is point differential that will determine home field advantage if it comes down to same records and division records and conference records. Maybe that's what he's thinking is, the amount of points. And by the way, the Eagles sitting players, that's not the smartest thing on the planet, guys. What if you're tied with Detroit? You know what it goes? Hey, Bob, help me out on this. It goes record, then it goes conference record, then it goes point differential. Who scored the most points? There's tiebreakers. Bob, the points scored, I think, is either the third or fourth tiebreaker when it comes to home field advantage. Okay? So you've got, if you have the same record as Detroit, okay, points scored is, I believe, the third or fourth. Third or fourth determining factor when it comes to tiebreakers. Okay? Sills, what was crazy is that the Super Bowls Mahomes and Brady lost, they were known for throwing the deep pass. Isn't that crazy? That's right. Because they had Tyreek Hill on that team and they had Mahomes, they had Moss on that team. Dan, would Chargers entertain Jalen or a Herbert trade? I'm not trading Justin Herbert for Jalen Hurts. Are you crazy? Okay. Are you crazy? I'm not trading that guy for him. The Seth Joyner podcast is constructive and positive, unlike Debbie Downer Sills. Well, stay over there. Thanks for coming here and posting that. Debbie Downer? I said you have an A in a Super Bowl roster and a C quarterback. And I think you can, if everything plays right, you could possibly get there, and you're as good as anybody in the league. Hey, just because I don't think your quarterback is all that hot, I think he's okay. Okay? I think he's okay. Keeping players healthy in a blowout is smart. Well, here's what Anthony doesn't get. And I've showed you this before in an NFL contract. As long as it doesn't affect my incentives and the amount of percentage plays for me playing and where we're ranked in rushing or sacks, don't be taking me out of games. If you have a contract that's incentive laden and you're pulling me out, I would look at you and go, you're costing me money when you're pulling me out. I'm playing for wins, but we negotiated this contract. And if my fucking coach is pulling me out, I have a problem with that, especially if I miss $1 million incentive at the end of the year. Money's more important than the wins to my family. That's why we negotiate those incentives. Don't be pulling me out. So I would have a problem with that as long as you're going to compensate me and you're going to come down to the player and you're going to tell his agent, hey, listen, if he comes in 69% of the plays and you have a contract where you have 70% of the offensive plays and there's $1.5 million signing an incentive bonus in there and I miss it by a percentage point, we're gonna make it right. Okay, then no problem. But don't be doing that. NFL contracts are not like college. That's the reason why you don't see guys pulled a lot. Because there's all types of incentives in your contracts. One of the coolest incentives that I heard, and one of the smartest incentives that I heard that Barkley has no touchdown incentives. You know why? Because of the tush push. Hurts is going to score the majority of them down in the red zone. They're not going to give it to Barkley. It's going to be Hurts. He doesn't have one incentive in his contract based on touchdowns and total TDs. Smart by his agent. Can you imagine how many touchdowns that if he had an incentive that Jalen Hurts would be taken away from Barkley on a potential $1 million incentive? I'd be like this, smart. Thank you, agent. If you're a running back, you don't want any touchdown incentives in your contract because they're not going to give it to the running back. They're going to do the tush push. I mean, they're just not. It's not up to the company to feel bad about your fulfillment. Then why, look at this dickhead. Then why are you fucking negotiating with me to make me feel like you're going to do the right thing and keep me in there and play me? What do you mean it's not your you're the company's responsibility. Yes, it is. You fucking negotiated it. We'll give you a $1.5 million incentive for playing 70% of the games. And then you feel it's in the right to pull me in a game because we're blowing them out, costing me $1.5 million at the end of the year. Yes, it is your responsibility. You fucking negotiated it. But then you're reneging on your contract. Yes, you are. What a dick. Okay. Mad. Dude, it's not getting mad. It's called passionate. Try it. I have eyes, and I've watched this team for 50 years. Jalen's a good quarterback. I never said he wasn't a good quarterback. He's good. I watched him play elite games, especially in the Super Bowl. Okay. Yeah, he's a good quarterback. I've not. He's a good player. With our easy schedule, we still have Washington. Yeah, I get it. I think. Yeah, I'm not going to. We have a better roster than in 17. No, you don't. No, you don't. How dare you fucking say that on November 19th, having one dick? This right here, JoJo. This guy should be called Dodo or Dum Dum. He's telling you you have a better roster on November 19th than you did in 17. And those guys won the Super Bowl. Okay. Okay. Why don't you try winning the Super Bowl first, Dum Dum, and then come back and go, hey, we had a better roster. On November 19th, you sound like those idiots like Dick Reyes last year telling me 10-1. I mean, you can't be any dumber. We have a better roster. Hey, I don't mind you saying last year you have a better roster. You can't even say that better than 22. You haven't reached the Super Bowl yet. You haven't reached the Super Bowl. Shit, man. You got waxed in the playoffs last year. You got guys on November 19th taking victory laps. By the way, my boy Xander will jump aboard with us. That'll be at 3:30. But we're efforting Vince Ferragamo and Hall of Famer Jackie Slater, who worked for the Rams, get a little insight on what the Rams are doing there at SoFi as the Eagles have to fly out west to take on that team. Everyone knows if you're anywhere close, Jeffrey Lurie plays out those incentives, so your incentive rant is moot point. He does? How do you know this? Have you heard that before? Really? So let me ask you this. So when Howie Roseman and the Eagles fixed that last game of Doug Peterson's career, fixed that game, you think he paid out the incentives then when he sat everybody? Xander says he typically does that for players. Okay. And I would believe that because the amount of money he gives up front. Points do not get considered in NFL tiebreakers until after 6 non-point factors are considered. Okay, so you're contradicting yourself. Is it or is it not, Slagger, a point differential? I mean, not point differential. Point scored. Is it not used as a tiebreaker? Okay. It's all right. Here we go. So, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I think we're going to hit on the Nick Sirianni and the Kellen Moore conversation. And I want you to do me a favor right now. By the way, please hit the like button. Okay? 6 tiebreakers occur first. So it is used as a metric for tiebreakers if you have the same record. Thank you. Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, and Nick Sirianni. We'll do Nick last. I want you to do something for me here. When Vic is speaking, and we wrote down the quotes, you tell me if I'm saying anything different than what Vic Fangio says. Okay? You tell me. Seals, how can we do against Stafford? This guy has been around forever. Good at reading defenses. Matthew Stafford. Okay? Here, let me, before we do that here. As a matter of fact, that was one of the topics. I think he's close to being a Hall of Fame player. Here's who he is. You tell me. Matthew Stafford has won a Super Bowl and an NFC championship. He's on pace this year for 4350, 25 touchdowns, 2 picks, 92 QBR, 66.5. Standard Matthew Stafford year. He's going to have 625 attempts. Hurts is probably going to be around 440. This guy throws the ball a lot. He's going to get close to 60,000 passing yards. The only problem that I have with him is that he's 103 and 112 and 1 as a starting quarterback. Some would go like this, well, he was in Detroit. Well, Jared Goff's winning in Detroit. Okay? Jared Goff is winning in Detroit. And his record with the Rams right now, he's 29 and 22. And in Detroit, he was 74 and 90 and 1 and never won a playoff game. So, do I think he's better than Phillip Rivers? Look at this. M. Reyes goes like this. It's not the same Detroit. Come on, Sills. It's not the same Detroit. Wait a minute. He had Megatron. He had a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Okay? He had a Hall of Fame receiver. Hurts is not fucking projecting to do for 3,900 yards. He is not. To me, it's ass backwards to build your roster before having the right quarterback and coach. I believe that's your point when you're talking about Jalen and Nick. Completely. The quarterback and head coach are not capable, in my opinion, of being consistent enough to keep your team around the rim. Jalen Hurts is on pace for 3,700 yards. Moving the sticks. Lying, as usual. And by the way, Stafford's thrown for 4,000 yards, 10 times in his career? So Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback, and he can move the sticks. This guy beat Brady in the NFC title game, I believe, either the divisional game or a NFC championship game. I can't remember where that game was played. I think it was in L.A. They got 2 good receivers, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, so this will be good. But again, Stafford, he hangs right around that 43. He hangs around right around that 4,300 mark. Thanks, Brian. It was a divisional game. Yeah, I forget who they lost in the NFC title game to. They won in the NFC title game. I can't remember who they beat that year. In the NFC championship game, but and quite frankly, I think right now, if you think about it, both franchises like who they got. Jared Goff just signed a 53 annual deal in Detroit, and Stafford delivered a Super Bowl. Niners, thank you, Kyle. Niners that year. Goff didn't find success until their multiple first-round picks were used to give him an O-line. Wait a minute. So which one was that? In L.A. or in Detroit? Moeller, because he went to an NFC title game in Detroit, and he also went to a Super Bowl in Los Angeles. So I'm confused. Which one did he find success in? This guy's trying to tell you he didn't have success in L.A. They lost 14-6 to the Patriots. Detroit. Okay. Well, he had success when McVay showed up. And by the way, Xander brings up a great point about Justin Herbert. So this guy had Jeff Fisher his first year, and he fumbled all over the place. They put Sean McVay in the building, he goes to the Super Bowl. Justin Herbert's all over the yard with Brandon Staley. You put Jim Harbaugh in the building, this guy's back to being an elite quarterback. Coaching matters in the NFL. Stafford will spread the ball around, just targeting Puka Nacua. Going to be a tough game. It's going to be an interesting ball game, and you're really going to get, hey, by the way, probably since Cincinnati, let me take a look at this. Probably since Cincinnati. Oh, wait, T. Higgins didn't play in that game. Have you played against two quality wide receivers like Nacua and Kupp this season? Was Godwin and Evans in that game? Was Godwin and Evans in that Tampa game? I don't remember if Godwin had, I think Godwin was injured. Evans and Godwin were in that week 4 game. That's probably your best. Washington was 1. The Rams have 2 really good wideouts. Okay, so Godwin, you guys are saying Godwin and Evans were in that, and they put a 38 burger on you. When they had, or 33 burger. It was 33-16. They crushed you when they had those 2 wideouts. Let's take a look at that game. On what those wideouts did in that ball game. Evans went for 94 yards and a touchdown. Godwin went for 69 yards. That could possibly be the same kind of thing that goes on with Nacua and Kupp. That's going to be a challenge. Absolutely. Mike Evans almost had 100 yards in that ball game, and Godwin 70 yards. Yeah. So it's going to be a wild one there. DeJean's not going to make that much of a factor covering. He's not on the perimeter. DeJean's more on the tight ends, dude. He's not going to cover those wideouts. I mean, they don't drop those guys in the slot. They're on the perimeter. They're on the numbers. Maybe in nickel. Okay, maybe in the nickel. And in the slot. And in the slot. Now that I think about it, somebody do me a favor. I think he plays about 32% in the slot. Okay? Ram sucks, Hills. What are you talking about here? You think Puka Nacua and – see, look at this guy. Anton, I'm not talking about the team. And by the way, I think their defense is not bad. They had a ton of injuries early on. Hey, Anton, you really think that Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp suck and Matthew Stafford sucks? Those guys suck. Let's take a look at that. Cooper will cover him. Let's take a look at this year. Those guys missed a ton of time. Those guys missed a ton of time this year. I think Kupp has missed a shitload of time. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button here. Let's take a look at Kupp. Let's go in depth here a little bit. Stafford's on pace for 4,300. And Cooper, I'll tell you what, that running back is pretty good. The running back, Kyren Williams, he's on pace for 1,300 yards. So they can run the ball. Kupp is on pace. Yeah, he's missed a ton of times. He's missed a ton. He's on pace for roughly around what Devontae's in pace for about 830. And Nacua has only played 5 games. Kupp's played 6. So those guys have missed a lot of football. But what you like about them is that they're starting to get back into shape here. So that to me tells me that you're looking at records and you're looking at a football team that's getting better because they're getting healthy. Okay? So they're getting healthier. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. Let's see here. Yeah, that back, I didn't realize he was on. Silly internal line pressure wins this game. Stafford needs a clean pocket, gets the yips. He sure does. It's a great take, Clairvoy. He hates that internal pressure like Brady did. You get him up the middle here and Carter playing the way he's playing, and you get a push up the middle, no question about it. That'll be a significant watch for this game. His internal pressure. Because he steps up in the pocket. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you're not going to get him moving around. He's not a very mobile guy running around in that pocket back there. He finds a spot and throws on it. Seals the NFC West. He's the definition of good teams with unfortunate circumstances, injuries, developing talent, but still at 500, and all will play off chances. I would say this too. I know that you guys, they have the two best rookies. I know that you believe that Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell are the two best rookies, but Fisk and Verse are the two best so far, what I've seen. And by the way, Vic Fangio made a comment about it today and hinted you only have so many draft picks, and we didn't get an opportunity at getting them. I think they would have drafted one of them. Hey, Anthony, is he out? Is Nacua out? That helps significantly. Okay? Get this. Okay, well, let's go to that. And I'll tell you, here's the quote from Vic Fangio. I love it when we write it down. Hard disagree? Not true. Here's Vic on Verse and Fisk. Let me find it. The two rookies that they have. Yes, we only have so many draft picks. And we definitely were looking at these two men. And Fisk and Verse are fantastic. We were high on our draft boards, but we only have so many draft picks. And we were looking at one of these guys. Well, they went ahead of him. And they went ahead of Cooper DeJean. And they went ahead of Quinyon Mitchell. I think they would have drafted one of these guys instead of Q. Sometimes the best move you make is the one you don't. Okay? Verse was the 19th pick. Fisk was the 39th. Mitchell was 22nd. Yeah. And I think that's exactly what Vic was talking about today. Okay? That's exactly what he was talking about. There's no injury tag on Puka so far. Okay? He has been banged up all year, though. He has been. Okay? I'll tell you one thing. The Rams have done a spectacular job at drafting. Kevin Demoff and Les Snead have done a fabulous job at the job that they've done on retooling that football team since the Super Bowl team. Hey, I didn't say you didn't. I didn't say, hey, so just so you know, Trag, if you want to look at it, glass half full, you wouldn't go wrong either way. You know what I'm saying? And for me, then you have to come down to this. Would you rather have an edge rusher or would you rather have a corner? If all things are equal in a passing league, I'd rather have the corner. I'd rather have the corner than the edge rusher. Okay? I mean, I'm not saying edge rusher is not important. By the way, did anybody happen to see Derek Barnett last night? Strip, sack, fumble recovery, touchdown return. I was like, but I also did see the head slap. And that's what you get out of Derek Barnett. You get a shitty bonehead play, head slapping on a field goal attempt. Then you turn around and he gets you a strip, sack, fumble recovery, touchdown return. I was like, what in the world? Of course, not in Philly. He does that. Oh man, Devin White was on that team too. I saw it. Versus has been very good. Imagine him in a zero jersey instead of milk carton. Hey, let's get to what one thing, and I'm going to bring that up right now, Brian. By the way, guys, please hit the like button. Hey, Vic Fangio never brings up Bryce Huff. And now the reporters are not even asking about him. I mean, they're not even asking. There was no questions asked about Bryce Huff. An $18 million investment has been a colossal disaster. But you know what I'm going to say to you? This is going to sound nutty. Xander, this is going to sound nuts here. You know what? Okay, so you have the conversation of a non-perfect world here. Sills, look at what they found in Zach Bond. And look at what they got in Bryce Huff. Are you okay? So I don't have to pay Zach Bond the $18 million that he's going to get in the open market right now. And I got a stiff on my team, but I got Bond instead. Can I balance that? Yeah, you can balance that. Yeah, I can balance that. I'm okay. Hey, do I want Huff to be great? But I'm going to do this. Watch this. I'm going to compromise myself here with you guys. I'm getting something out of Nolan Smith. I got a ton out of, and none of those two guys aren't costing me shit. He's on a rookie contract, Nolan Smith, and Bond's costing me dick. Bond's costing me less than the kicker. Okay? I mean, so I'm going to go like this with Huff. I'm going to eat it. What I don't like is Bradbury on the team at $11 million. I mean, I have no idea why James Bradbury's on the team. I have zero idea why he's on the team. And they just didn't take the $4 million cap hit. Instead, they're paying him the full 11. I just don't understand that. It's wasted money. It's like government spending. It makes no sense. You need Elon and Trump to come in there and gut some of them contracts of them older dudes. I'm like, man, why is he on the team? Why is he making $11 million? Hasn't played it. Get this. He's one of the highest paid players on the team, and he hadn't played it down this year. I mean, so let's get to Vic here. Xander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. We are going to try to effort our friends Vince Ferragamo and Pro Football Hall of Famer Jackie Slater. These guys are on their way to Los Angeles for practice. I don't know. I think they're in Anaheim, and they're on their way to Los Angeles. And I told them, like at around 4:30 or 5:30, in between there, Eastern time, to see if they could try to jump aboard with us and talk a little bit of and talk a little. Oh, by the way, I got to show you guys something. I can't show it to you on my phone here because of my green screen. But will you do me a favor, some of you who follow me on my Twitter? I want to show you my tie-in with you guys. And go over to @DanCilio Show. And if you can, do me a favor. There's a gentleman who does something for us all the time. And it's really cool. And he does this all the time for us. And he does it during the holidays. And what he's done is, his name is Richard Gray. And I said this right now. I want to share something that my friend Richard Gray does for Canes football and Eagle fans, honoring my friend Jerome Brown. He takes care of the crash site so folks never forget. And he's dressed it up nice. Fly, Eagles, fly. There's two, one for Augustus, where Jerome was killed. And they dressed it up every holiday. Look at that Eagle thing, man. Fly, Eagle, fly. There's a banner forever in our hearts. It's right outside of Brooksville. So if you get a chance, Go over to my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show, and you'll see those pictures that Richard Gray every year honors Jerome Brown so that we never forget JB. Okay? I mean, arguably one of my closest and dearest friends and my former teammate. So it's really cool. And the pictures were sent to me. They took them this morning, and they never forget Jerome. So it's right there at the crash site outside the dealership where he bought his Corvette, flipped the car, and he ended up dying. He died in July, I believe. And those pictures are on my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show. So I hope you'll check them out. Let's see here. Let's see here. Kupp is better than Lamb. Maybe. He's a good football player. Yeah, he's a good football player. Khalid, thank you. I'm not. I mean, Xander loves CD. I mean, I don't know. I think he's a good football player. I just happen to like Devontae more. I don't know. I think he is Jalen Carter reincarnated. They have the same attitude, temperament, and play style. They sure do. And he wears 98. That's what he wore in college. 99, he couldn't take 99 because 99 is retired and up in the rafters at Lincoln Financial. But Jerome wore 98 in college. He wore 98 because there's a highway that goes through Brooksville. It's Highway 98. He loved his city so much. And he had such a very close relationship with everybody in it. Yeah. So is there any chance you can bring Stubbs on the show? Sure. Denny, Stubbs is actually a former Eagle, too. We're all sitting here watching a racist who is fired from Fox Sports. Not true. Racist and sexist comments. Google it. I wasn't fired for one racist comment ever. That's not true. Lie. That's not what was reported. And by the way, I had a job in 3 days with the guy who runs 97.5 in Philly. Okay? Fox Sports, I was never fired from. I left. It was Clear Channel. I was with Clear Channel for 14 years. Absolute lie. See, here's the kind of stuff right here. Fucking total lie. I was fired because the Buccaneers wanted me off. Do you want to see the apology that Clear Channel wrote? Hey, by the way, you know what, dude? Just like Brian Urlacher said, that shit don't matter anymore. Nobody cares. You lost. You lost. Nobody cares. I don't care anymore. Hey, Google it. That's funny. Thank you, guys. Hey, I don't care anymore. You know what I say to you? Fuck you. Eat a dick. I still don't care. Liberated. Still Skilly, this guy's never been to the channel, doesn't know you from a can of paint. I know, man. You know what he is? No, man. You know what he'll do if he's any kind of good sports guy? He'll stay here. And he'll stay with us. I don't want him to leave. I don't want him to leave. Hey, let me ask you this, guys. Yeah. One of my best friends, Jerome Brown. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right, let's get to Vic here. Okay. Got to stop listening to this at work. Sill's going to get Hey, real. Thank you, man. I'll try to behave myself. I had a guy tell me this. Hey, Sills, I've got you here in a restaurant in South Philly. can you do me a favor? And I'm like, I mean, I can only imagine. Okay. No, you're right, man. You're right. That's what Big Joe Kraus says. You don't have to punch down, Sills. You're right, guys. Sometimes I catch myself. Still, Stafford's on pace for 43, 47, and 22 touchdowns. Has no rushing stats. Hurts is on pace for 4. Oh, look at him at the rushing means dick. Okay. Means dick. Hating on a so-called racist, but watching him is crazy work. I'm with you. I don't get that. Yeah. Hey, I'm with you. I never got that. I never got that. All right, let me get to Vic here. Hey, Sills, you suck. I've been watching you for 32 years. You've never changed. Wow. Okay. And yeah. Can we get Foles or McNabb on the show? Yeah, I'll ask Frank Reich for Nick Foles' cell phone. He gave me Nick's, but the general manager had a cow with me because, I don't know, I started saying some harsh things about him. And he didn't want to put the GM on. So Bob Lane cried to his owner, I'm not putting you on. Why would make me want to put the general manager on? All you do is talk shit on him. I'm like, well, you can't draft. And I'm supposed to put him on? Oh, I see. So you put him on with people who say things you like? No. But fair. Okay? He's not racist. He just loves to talk shit on Hurts. Is that how you see that? Come on, Fries. Is that how you see that? Oh, man. Sills, do you think Naku is better than Ayuk? Good comparison. Good comparison. Okay, great comparison. I don't know, man. That could be a push. Absolutely hated Sills. Takes while first watching. I was at the 49er game, and we were collapsing. First thing I thought was fucking Sileo. Hey, Xander, look at this one. I'm sitting at the 49er game at Lincoln Financial. I'm watching the game, and I'm watching the collapse, and the first thing I thought of was fucking Sileo. That's the greatest compliment I've had since Angelo said, I'm going to pass the baton in Philly to you. That is hilarious. Devin, you made my day, man. Oh. Hey, you made my day, man. Sills. Swear, Sills. You're reading shit that's not here. That's fucking funny, man. I saw this, Bob. Hurts is a more productive player. Yeah, Lamar, but here, productive player, Bob, or winning in today's NFL. I think Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts put a lot of stats up. Are those stats going to win you championship? I don't know. I don't know. Sills rent free in the mines all over Philly. I got a guy sitting at Lincoln Financial. I'm assuming in a good seat too. He's sitting here watching the team just go like this. You see that video of that guy standing up to in the crowd? He was bitching. Everyone's like, "They're Sileo." I'm like, so here, Devin's like this. He's like, "The fucking guy Sileo." Jesus Christ. I hate. Hey, right? Hey, Devin, right? I hate that guy. Oh my God, that's hilarious. So, do you think the Eagles would have remotely won as much in the conference when not playing pizza quarterbacks? Yeah, because that O-line, Hollywood. You know why you win? You're winning because of that O-line. Okay? You're winning. You're winning because of that old line. One of my favorites of all time. That's the Joe. I watched the Eagles versus Washington taped, and I'm not saying Jaden doesn't need grace because he's a rookie, but damn, the guy missed almost as many wide open throws than Jalen did. He'll be better in the next game. It's got to be. He will. I like him. Herm Edwards was great on the program too, by the way. I thought. I did. I thought he was great. He'll be better. I mean, look, I said that the Commanders would win the NFC East. I can't give him a pass for being a rookie. He's got to play like a veteran. You know, Vic said something that was exceptionally interesting that contradicts what I said. And I'm going to go with what Vic said now. Vic was talking about the rookie wall today. He says he doesn't believe it exists. And he had a great metric for it. Back in the old days, we had 3 months of 3 days, 2 days. They don't do that anymore. So these guys they're not practicing as long in camp and playing as hard in camp. Back then, man, you had no rules on contact days. There was no such thing. You hit every day for 3 months. By the time you got out of camp, you were dragging getting into the first game. You had 3 months of camp. Nowadays, what do they have? 10 games? And so when Vic brought that up today, I'm like, wow. So maybe there isn't a rookie wall. He goes, I don't believe there's a rookie wall anymore. Maybe mentally, and maybe, that could play a factor. But physically, he said, how could there be a rookie wall when back in the day, those guys, you don't practice as hard as you did in training camp? Honestly, guys, we went 3 months every single day of 2 days. 3 months of it. Full contact, 3-hour practices. Those things were brutal. And when you're in the heat of Tampa and you're in the heat of the University of Miami, I mean, it's brutal. I could never in a million years ever get through anything like that. I mean, unbelievable. I can't even lift a box now. But I don't know how I made it and lived through that. I mean, some of the most difficult things I've ever done is go to training camp in an NFL training camp or any training camp at a big-time football program. Some of the worst things I've ever done. Okay? Who cares? That's his past. Let it go. I don't know what you said, Sills, but you're cool with me. Anthony, him and I go back and forth. And Anthony, thank you very much. Anthony, I did something that like Jason Kelce did the other day when he was at the Penn State game, Ohio State game, and he did locker room talk, and it kind of caught him. And actually, I DM'd him, and I told him it's great because Joe Kraus told me that he ran into him. And get this. And I asked Jason Kelce this. I go like this. He goes, yeah, I asked the guy if he wanted an autograph or a picture. You know what the old man said? No, I'm good. Kraus, the old man goes like this. No, I'm good. It's all good, man. He didn't want to look like he was autograph jumping. So it was good. But I told him, I go, yeah, man, you got to watch out because these people, if you talk like locker room talk, they're not going to get it. So just watch the locker room talk. By the way, you better have your top 10 quarterbacks. I got my top 10 teams and also my MVP race. So as I bring on Xander Kraus, I want to do my MVP as I bring on, as I get, here's the MVP. We'll do the other ones here. And we'll talk a little bit about what Vicky Kellen said today. So without further ado, by the way, we're running down our friends Vince Ferragamo and also Jackie Slater, who work for the Rams. Slater, obviously a Pro Football Hall of Famer. So if they happen to pop on, we're just going to drop those guys on.